want to figure out.
Yeah, get your seating arrangements.
Come on, Scoot. I haven't seen you in a minute.
Oh.
Come get close.
Look
Do
at
these
them
shorts
breaking all
look
the
familiar?
rules.
Oh, is that the one
What?
you got?
Yeah, they're the ones you gave to me.
I didn't know who
No.
went up with them. I couldn't remember.
They're-
Also, you didn't get the
They're like
the
XLs.
letter,
Yeah.
so we're glued to
They're
it.
big, but they're super
Oh,
comfy.
that's
Yeah.
good.
I mean, I
Can
can
you
always
My
change?
problem was like
Yeah.
I would have to
Alright.
use the drawstring like hard.
I really wish this was
Which I'm sure
I'm
you
not
thematic
like
in any way.
a little bit thicker than you are, so like.
Do this thing, right?
Okay, clap sync on 3. Damn it!
As
Mace!
soon as you say that C word, I'm in it.
Clip?
Yep.
Mason with the
C
word.
Yeah.
Effing square.
Come?
Mm.
I swear. Damn it. Oh, no, I did it to myself. Okay, we're gonna keep all that banter in.
By the way, Director Theo is asleep at the helm.
She's like,
She's like,
Is the mic on, Theo?
Theo? Theo? See, hold on. I know what will get her engaged. Welcome to the Epic Movie Podcast. Now with claps to mess up the audio. Theo is behind the scenes directing this wonderful episode. We're your hosts, Nathan, Dylan, Price, and Mason. Actually, in that order.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Theo's
pissed.
back on board. Annoyed, but I get it.
Cats hate everyone.
We're talking about this little indie flick back from 08.
Yeah.
It's not really an indie flick. They actually had a budget. They had, surprisingly,
Probably more of a budget.
I mean, they had some actors who
They had-
became big name actors.
Who? Amber Heard?
Amber Heard, Dijon Hossein,
Evan
and
Peters?
Evan Peters.
Yeah.
We have 3 of the 4,
Mhm.
or 3 of
Wait,
the
who
5
was the
main
second
characters.
one you mentioned?
The
The-
Dijon? That's the
Oh
mentor.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's always like a little above a minor role in
Yeah.
like every movie I
Yeah.
see him in.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. He was
Mhm.
the guard. That's where most people are probably recognizing him from. Anyway,
Yeah.
what movie are we talking about, Mason?
A movie called Never Back Down. Like Dylan said, it's from 08.
Yeah.
Basically just, I don't know, mixed martial arts.
You don't know. I mean, you're the
You
expert.
know.
Oh,
You
okay.
know.
Yeah, so let me give you a little
Break it down, break it down.
Basically, a troubled kid who likes to, be a little more violent than he probably ought to be. His family uproots and moves pretty much across the country, and no matter where he goes, no matter what school he goes to, he always gets into fights. As is what happens to this new school, but the only difference is this one has like an underground fighting ring basically going on.
It's Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all, organized and straight. So, I don't know. That's pretty much
and
it.
it's in Florida.
Yeah.
It is in Florida.
Straight's a little debatable. It's a little homoerotic. There's some homoerotic undertones with the guy's interest in the dude.
John Roca?
Not even John Roca, right? It's the main antagonist's interest in Iowa. He's like, no, I want you at my party.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kiss this girl, but I don't really care about her. I'm caring about
He does call him Iowa a lot.
you. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So-
In like a good way.
Yeah, in a way that's more intimate than not.
So Mason, this movie's been hyped about a lot for a long time.
Why?
Tell us why this was picked. What finally made it happen now?
So,
Why in the first place?
well, I don't want to get too much into it
Why?
for
Yeah,
a
well,
discussion,
I might
but
circle back.
this movie is fairly similar to some other movies, similar to like Warrior, but bite size. This movie is a lot like some of our other like teen dramas, I guess, but I don't know, more just quick clips versus drawn out scenes.
You're
Yes.
saying quick clips, but this
I'm not gonna
movie
say that.
is pretty long. I don't
Oh no,
remember
I'm
what
not saying.
Well,
it's
but the
a-
scenes
it's a-
themselves,
I just
yeah,
mean like
yeah.
the clips are actually. That's one of its flaws, I think, is the cut scenes that are just like yanked away from like. I don't know. I can think of a few in like the Tennessee stuff like that.
Mm.
But anyways, this movie I think has always been pretty good to me, and I did see it in theaters. It was actually a couple categories on that wheel there while we still had categories.
Mm?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it was.
It was like, what was it? First movie you watched? with
Yeah.
Right,
a
first-
girl?
Like a Jade or something?
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. So
Wait, was this a first date movie for you?
it was one of them. I
'Cause-
can't remember. I'd had.
I'm the same
before,
way. Like
but
I had movies I've seen with girls, but the first one I remember.
You actually
yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have fit this bill.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the discussion because there's a lot of words to be shared about this movie, and whatever spectrum they may land in is for debate. Price, you've been most eager behind the scenes to talk about this movie because it's been, quote, 2 weeks since you've even watched
Oh.
it. But
He
go
could,
ahead.
he could
I'm
name how
not-
many hours and minutes. As well.
I'm not making the sunshine problem again. Like I'm not doing that. I'm watching everything.
At least he watches
beforehand.
your movies.
I took plenty of
Yeah,
notes
that's a good point.
Yeah.
to do this, but I'll go ahead and start off with one of my biggest gripes is that the main character is dreadful. He is one of the worst main characters I've ever had. I've
You
seen in
don't
any
like
movie.
how often he just brings his dad up to get sympathy points.
Right.
That's another thing I have in my notes is that like the gym trainer is about to kick him out of the gym, and he's like, I can't have you, like you fought and you can't do that. And then the main character's like, come on, like I really need this, like I need this. He's like, no, you're out. And then like it kind of stops, and he's like, when I was like a couple years ago, my dad and I went out to a bar, and then he's like, I have dad problems too. Yeah, come back on in. And then he gets kicked out a second time, and he's like, all right, I'm kicked out. But my dad like left such an impression. He's like, all right, you can come back in.
He didn't
Like,
get kicked
that-
out.
He didn't get that twice. No, it was
He got
only
kicked
once.
out
It was
once.
He used it twice with the
Yeah.
gym trainer. And I'm like,
Quick,
No, that's true.
yeah.
God.
Quick side note. Something I remember thinking even at that moment.
Mhm.
Why was he okay? So he had been with his dad. He's still in high school. This has implied to have happened at least probably about a year ago.
Within the past 2 years.
Within the past 2
because
years.
If he's a senior, he would have been
Sure.
driving at
So
16.
what is right? So let's say he's sophomore, average age 16, being generous. What's he doing at the bar with his dad?
Hey, I was always at the sports
I mean, all right. So I
bars.
guess right. It depends, right?
I
If it's a
never
sport
was.
time or if it's a Q
You
time.
lived in Glasgow.
That's- yeah,
I was
that's-
in Bowling Green.
That's fair. If it was like cute, all right. So okay, I'm there now because I'm thinking 21 cutoff bars. But to your point, yeah, if it's like let's go to Q time, which is technically a bar, but it's a pool hall. then
Yeah.
sure. All right. Never mind.
Okay.
That's challenge. That's
I
fine.
mean,
and
I
You
went,
could also
I went
go
to
to
B-dubs
bowling
more
alley and
before I
drink.
was 16 than I have since after I was
fair.
16.
That's fair.
Like,
yeah.
Flat out by a landslide.
Yeah. Before drinking ages, I would say the times I've been to Hooters is that exact same ratio,
See.
right? Like versus after. So
we're getting past the point I
So,
made that
sure.
like he
That he's
uses his
dreadful.
dad
Oh.
for easy sympathy points, and he's just a terrible person in the first place.
terrible
And I-
or boring?
And I don't know why. Both.
Okay.
Like he's like.
No, so you are very harsh on terrible people. Like you thought that the guy from Big Sick was like the worst
that's-
character of all
But the
time
reason that they
ever
were,
put
though-
on a screen.
But the thing is, though, is the movie is trying to make you feel sympathetic for this person, and I don't like it when it's a shitty person, and the movie wants you to make you think they're a good person.
he had an
Watch
anger
the
problem.
Big
Like
Sick.
Yeah.
there's plenty of wrong things that he was
And to
doing.
go ahead
Yeah.
and say you the counter argument, like Uncut Gems, he's a terrible character too,
Yeah.
but the movie makes you realize like he's a terrible character over and over.
Yeah.
They don't do that in this movie, and it grated on my nerves. Like I'm supposed to feel sorry for this
So
guy.
But
so you wanted him to lose at the end.
Oh, okay. Do I need to
No,
go ahead and
we're not leaving there yet. We're not going to the war. That is the question. I don't know if that's one.
Okay,
I don't know.
That- that's a good
There's a
question.
lot to be talked
There's
about
a lot.
around that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So
Not
I,
yet.
I have different opinions.
Yeah,
about that.
I wanna riff with that the shitty character thing for a 2nd
Mhm.
because we're missing a important part of the context of this character. Although it is clearly a
It's pretty
20-something.
clear-cut,
It's
yeah.
very clearly
Yeah.
this is a 20-something-year-old dude playing a teenager. This is
Yeah, they're all way too old. Kelly
This
said
is-
that.
Every
A
one of
teenager.
them. Yeah.
make
Yeah.
no mistake. This is a teenager who's been going to bars for some reason.
His younger brother might be the age in which he is playing.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's the only
Charlie
character.
is the only character.
Him and the mom are the only characters that are probably relatively aged appropriately.
Yeah.
Even Dijon may be on the fence, but no. So this is a teenager. What are the rules about teenagers? Rule 1: teenagers suck. If you're anybody else looking at teenagers, teenagers suck. We are not teenagers watching this movie. This kid sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's an excuse. I'm saying that's kind of like where you're gonna sit there and find the gritty, kind of emotional, but not in a healthy way. You know, that's kind of how a fucking teenager would process that. He'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be shitty. I'm gonna use my dad as an excuse because I don't want to just cope and deal with it and move on. Although we kind of
No, not all
Right.
teenagers are like that.
not all, but that's traditional Hollywood teenagers though.
Or Perks of Being a Wallflower guy.
Right.
You know.
Price,
how
I know
he's
you
I
just
don't
like-
care. When I have to sit
You're-
down for 2 hours and am forced to watch a character I detest,
Uh-huh.
I do not like that.
Okay.
I'll give him that. Okay, fine. The character's not that great. Honestly, I hate anyone that that answers anything with violence. You know, like
Sure,
that,
sure.
That's way past.
Even if they're
what
part
he should be
Cherokee?
doing. Huh?
Even if they're part Cherokee.
Yeah. I like quits. I don't like violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my point to you, Price, for the record, is not to say that you're wrong or that you're not okay with hating this person. I am saying that there is a reason why I feel like that they're that, and I'm not saying that I find that okay. I will agree. This character sucks. This character is not particularly likable or enjoyable by any stretch of the means. But I will concede that I'm like, that's what they're going for, because teenagers in high school.
It's angst.
No, they agreed. They
And,
got it right.
and the movie misses.
Well, not in making me sympathetic.
They miss
but-
in a big way because you just can't see these people as teenagers.
Not
Yeah.
at
No.
all.
Because what they're doing is not a thing that ever happens.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they don't look like teenagers. Like
Yeah.
this was completely
Fantastic movie.
Well, so at least they kind of look like teenagers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they
so
do.
at
And the
least there was
movie
They
is
tried.
old
They don't
too,
have
yeah.
like 8-pack abs
Yeah.
and huge
this
muscles.
movie has such a
One of
huge
those.
problem in their wanting to set it in a high school. That's like why?
Okay.
College
There was
would
no reason to do
College
that.
would make
The
more
campus
sense.
looked more like a college
It did.
anyway, and they could have, like you just said, they could have gone that route, and it probably wouldn't have made any more difference. Like as far as
Yeah, like it's
Setup
still a
and
thin
stuff.
veneer, but
Yeah.
at least it would have been somewhat more appropriate.
yeah,
Yeah. All right.
I mean, still nonsense.
I want to.
Yeah.
ultimately.
I want to chime in
Agreed.
on probably my biggest annoyance of this movie because we're in it right now.
Mhm.
It is the high school culture, right? As a fan of teen dramas,
Mhm.
and
Did the party scene get you?
it's not even the party scene. We'll get to the party scene. It's not. We get there, but it is. This is. If you're first of all, I've been a new kid for most of my life.
Mhm.
Never has and whatever. Maybe I didn't get in fights and fight a whole football team.
Hey,
But
that's
let's.
what you got to do.
You're right. Maybe that's where I fucked
Gotta
up
do.
along the way. But I'll tell you, this is what you idealize as a new kid at a school. Everybody wants to be your friend, that you're the most interesting kid in school, that all the attention's on you in a good way. Not in
Mhm.
this weird, you're an outcast, oh, well, we all know each other because we went to middle school, who's the new kid?
Yeah.
That's like, being a new kid is awkward and cringy, and you're not making friends, and it's very isolatory, and it's an unhealthy experience. This movie immediately gave you a response to make the male fantasy of being the coolest, biggest dick dude at school while also
Violence.
being a new kid.
Yeah.
And like immediately, by violence, right? Yes, a case in point, because he went to Fight Club High School
Yeah.
with the worst kept secret possible.
Yeah.
It-
There's 3 rules.
Right.
That
Yeah, tell everybody.
Yeah.
The guy- the-
Tell everybody. Try to tell everybody.
Be the best.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The
so
best.
the fantasy aspect, the one part that just killed me was, so first of all, who the fuck, if you're in Florida, and Evan Peters' character's like, yeah, we got your video from the internet, and in 2008, YouTube loaded
Oh, yeah.
like shit. So I'll tell you, first of all, if somebody did upload it,
Could you even have it on your phone at that time?
Was this
Yeah,
film?
because you had iPhones, and you
this
had
was filmed in
Palm-
08, so that means it was
Palm
being
Pros.
produced
But
in probably
was-
06 or
I'm
7.
wondering if like the visuals of whenever they were showing the YouTube, like if that was contemporary to the time.
It definitely
Yeah,
was.
I mean,
That's
based on
what
the
I'm thinking,
360p.
too.
that little like
That's
montage
just, like,
after the
always-
Hummer scene
Yeah.
was
I do like seeing
how YouTube
that,
looked.
Mm.
but like it's not like they deliberately went to do that. That was just contemporary of the time, so it's not like a stylistic choice to have
No,
gone for.
Sure.
No, that was very much what they had at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this will never age out.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
seeing like
for
a,
sure.
a guy
Yeah.
rides a bike into a stop sign with that same exact look. Like,
I remember that one.
yeah, and then the guy laughs.
Yeah.
See, we knew.
The like interstate sign
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah.
But my bigger point to this is that why are these fucking kids in Florida suddenly so like? Surely there's enough videos even on the internet at this point that they're not just gonna randomly find this video about the new kid beating up everybody in Iowa.
Mason can correct me here, but I'm pretty sure the very first day he goes to school, no one notices him.
No.
And then the second day is when everybody finds the video, and
Right.
it just is like, I don't know, like a cancer
And,
going through
and
the
they're
school.
and they're like look,
everyone
all the
knows-
girls
and
are
everyone's
looking
looking
at,
at
school,
him.
everybody's on it, and I'm like, I'll tell you, I dreamed of that trying to be my life
Yeah.
as I was quietly hood up walking to my class, covering my boner with my binder.
Yeah.
Because that's what high
With
school
your trapper
really is.
Yeah.
Because that's what high school really is, and none of what they show goes
Yep.
to that, which is the follow-up point Price mentioned earlier, the party. How many high school parties, in fact, how many adult parties have you been to
You
have
know-
been as rowdy and sexy as this party?
With those
Well,
two
so
girls.
you got to consider the fact that this was shot in, was it Miami?
Miami. Okay, I would concede
Orlando.
in that area,
This
this
was-
maybe
Orlando.
gets a
this was in
little
a
bit.
rich neighborhood.
This is a rich
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Like
Like
these were really well-to-do people.
yeah.
I'm not like I don't necessarily have personal experience having gone to a really rich person's party like that. Maybe that kind of shit does happen.
Grain of salt, I'll give you that. For the context alone that they set up, I could see where this could be a high school party still, maybe.
I've definitely been to
we had
houses,
some
not
pretty
that
crazy
big, but
parties
fairly
in high
big.
school, but they were like in the
course, my
fucking
friends
woods.
were-
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
that's
So, like,
There were
yeah,
hundreds of people there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known anyone.
Right, yeah, I've been to like Project X level ones where we were destroying a home in Buffalo, Kentucky. You know,
But it was a shitty home.
It was a
broken
it was
home.
shitty, right? But okay, and now granted, that's our southern states, not
Yeah.
Florida, showing, and so okay.
Yeah.
I'll concede maybe this is realistic within the context of what they're giving us, but it's ridiculous.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's multiple Fight Clubs, like divisions. There's
Oh, there's
the
Black
X's,
on Brown,
the
Battle of the
cross-gender one.
X's.
No,
yeah.
all right. Like the movie wants to be tongue in cheek and let the like girl kick the shit out of the guy.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that girl's getting fucking knocked out. Like, I'm not saying that men always will beat women on this one. Let me clarify, but I will say that unless they show me a montage of that girl doing training, it looked like he had her pound for
Are we
pound.
ready for the montages? Because you know what? They needed a couple more montages
Hey,
to go with
you
their
know what they needed
montages.
along
Well-
with those montages is more music.
Yeah,
Oh,
more
yeah.
music video montages. This movie's so 2008. Go
Dude,
ahead,
it
guys.
hurt how good the music was in this freaking movie.
It's just so aggressive. Whenever it comes on,
The
like,
whole movie is
That's the
aggressive.
tone of the
Well,
movie.
but-
All right.
So I feel like more and more lately I've noticed just the like audio mixing with a lot of
Mhm.
movies and
the audio
man,
kicks
the
on.
audio for the
Listen.
songs is twice as loud as
It's like
everything else.
it's like an actual producer's like blaring the treble and everything. They hit
Right.
all of the
like
notches.
the
And
guy
the
that
volume.
mixed this
Yes, yeah.
really loved those bands.
He
He's
went
like,
on to
"I
be
can't
Nolan's
wait.
mixer, as it
We
turns out."
paid to have these songs.
Yeah.
We're gonna blast.
Oh, the budget I was talking about, it wasn't for the movie.
Yeah.
It was for the
Yeah.
artists.
They bought the song and 3 actors they didn't know we were gonna be famous. over.
Yeah, they struck gold on that. but-
Yeah.
And then those montages themselves, like the first one goes on for so long, and then the second one is
The
my
traveling.
The second one is my favorite because like he starts like being a piece of shit person, like athletic wise, and then a month later he's like throwing rocks further than the trainer.
Oh, yeah.
He's like doing stuff better than the trainer. And they're like, yeah. And then it has that awful scene with his brother sitting on his back, like with him doing push-ups on him. Like this is the cringiest, most awful
I
montage.
feel like you hated it because it was Red Jumpsuit.
So bad.
Yeah.
I love those songs. That's the thing that annoys me is that I love those songs. And God,
I just remembered a line that I.
such poor storytelling.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
here's a line that I want to see if you guys remember and if it stuck the landing for you on
Mhm.
this one. So early on, it's in the locker room right after the Iowa one, and I don't remember his name. His name's Iowa, even when he's at Iowa.
Yeah.
It's Iowa talking to his buddy or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, well, who's gonna keep you out of trouble whenever I'm not here?" And he's like, "Who's gonna get you
into
your-"
it?
Yeah, get you into it. Yeah.
This guy knows.
Does that land?
Oh,
It landed it for me, honestly.
and
I
I
was
think
like,
of the
yes.
very first like dialogue in this movie. It's the other football player saying like the sauce that shit'll kill you, and then
Yeah.
that's what starts the whole brawl, and then
Uh-huh.
it's that line.
Right.
Like, in that order. Like I don't know. anything
No, it is.
between
It
that.
definitely is because I watched this movie twice in between then and there, which
Speaking of him getting into that fight, every single time that he doesn't want to fight, which happens a lot of the times, he'll just be walking away, and then the other person will be like, "Your dad was a bitch," and he's like,
Yo, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he just charges after like this guy has 2 brain cells.
Exactly.
One
no,
of them
it-
is about
That's
Amber
realistic,
Heard.
though.
It
That's
is.
realistic.
It's not fight or flight. It's fight. Most likely gonna fight.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the two.
fight more.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then the conversations with his family, like no
Oh, yeah.
family
That's
talks
the-
like that.
yeah.
Every single time they're in a room together, they're like, I work hard to put you through school. And he's like, my anger comes from not having a parental figure.
Where's
And
my
then
other
it's just-
parent?
Well,
like they don't talk like a normal family
and
at all.
and the mom throwing the
plate?
dishes.
Yeah.
I forgot about that until we talked about it again, and I'm just like, okay, the whole family's
You think
angry.
I don't get mad?
So, you know
I
what?
don't get mad and want to throw stuff.
Actually, the more in reflection, the more I'm starting to see, no, this character makes sense. It's not, like, I'm not saying he's a good character, but consistently, he had a dad who probably was angry too.
The
You know,
dad was 3 times worse.
he died before he got to
Convinced me
show
otherwise.
how angry he was. But if the mom is already chucking plates left and right, dude, this kid doesn't have any healthy role models.
This was a broken house.
Exactly.
Long before he.
They played Broken Home by 3 Days Grace. in
Yeah, they
this.
did.
Where?
Did they? Wait, no.
I'm
they
pretty
didn't.
sure
No,
they
they
did.
No, they didn't. They
I'm
didn't.
looking.
No, look, go look.
I mean, Mason would
recommend-
know. I trust
Mason-
him.
No.
I trust Mason
Yeah.
more than anybody on
You,
this soundtrack.
if Home was on this soundtrack, good God.
What a banger.
That's their best song.
It is. God, the family.
Yeah, the family's rough.
Also, while we're on family, I gotta talk about how the brother is secretly the best character in this movie because he keeps making move on Amber Heard.
Yeah.
on this, and like I think eventually he's
That
gonna get her.
happens, dude. Like, like that
Oh,
happens
yeah,
in real
totally.
life.
No, it
He's
does.
gonna like push
Yeah.
the envelope a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah, like whenever they're also when she's playfully beating up on him, but then you remember it's Amber Heard. Anybody else that didn't have a moment of like she's been telling us for years.
Yeah.
She's already squatting over him. She's gonna do the poop.
Yeah.
We keep seeing her cropping up ever since this thing started.
I know. This might date the videos, but this may or may not be relatively in the time period where she maybe is in court.
Yeah.
But that's been resolved since then. But
Yeah.
yeah, much like the Baby Driver feelings, I couldn't help but not see older Amber Heard beating up on
Just
people, even as younger
Giving
Amber
a
Heard.
black eye.
Yeah, but Iowa fucking deserves it. He wants it.
Also, speaking of characters, the antagonist of this movie,
I was gonna ask you about it.
he was fine but kind of douchey at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I already said my quote, but by the end of it, he is homicidal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He about
100%.
kills
Yeah.
Evan
Yeah.
Peters. Like, what the hell happened in this short of time to
I
make him?
genuinely like the
do that.
villain.
No,
Ryan
Oh
McCarthy.
my god!
You know what? Here's
Oh.
where I'll come to bat with you on this one. I'm with
my
you.
God.
If anything,
I don't want anything to do with it.
No.
Like,
in real
I don't
life,
want it.
no. I've known a couple of those high school dudes. So here's where I'll come to bat with you in my point of view with the antagonist.
You're just memeing on this.
I'm not.
movie.
I swear I'm not with
I
this.
don't believe
I
you.
swear I'm not.
He
no.
is terrible.
He does what antagonists should. You hate this guy.
yeah.
He is the type of person who goes on screen and it's just like it's my job just to be as dislikable as possible.
He's so poorly developed.
But-
Without a shirt on.
right without.
Oh,
a shirt.
of course.
Because
With
well,
those
you didn't work on the
co-runners?
Apex, right?
Yeah.
No. So I think my only complaint about him is that he gets a little too homicidal.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he
does.
has a little bit of he has a smidge of charm to him early on. Like
if he just
early
like
on,
too aggressive with his fights, like if that whole Evan Peters thing
Right.
didn't happen and he just like beat the crap out of that guy at beatdown or
Yeah.
whatever that thing was, like that's fine. Like I understand that.
if he's
for his
taking it out
character.
on somebody else, but
Yes.
it's whenever he's beating up on people who don't deserve. But that's his misplaced anger, whatever. Not the point. The point is, I like in the first up until fight scene or up until party fight scene, right?
Mhm.
And they're fighting. He has this almost like charm to him that it makes you're
It's a
guessing.
concerning charm.
Yeah, you're
it's
like,
this,
is he here to like just fight him and beat him up, or does
I
he like
agree.
want something there? Like it gives a little bit more allure.
At the beginning, he's fine.
But then he gets a little bit more one dimensional at that point. Now he's just like, I
Then he
just
about
wanna,
kills a guy.
yeah. Then I just
Well,
kind of want to keep beating him
I
up.
feel like they actually did an okay,
yeah.
riddle me this,
Sure.
or like, tell me if I'm wrong, but like they actually do, like they basically say like, all right, this guy's getting crazier and crazier, kind of like Daenerys in Game of Thrones. Like
Yeah.
it is laid out.
It's that poorly developed. Yeah.
Yeah.
They show
Is
don't
she
tell
not
with it.
homicidal at the end?
Right. So
yeah, within like 3 episodes.
It starts.
No, it was long before. It was all the men telling her what to do. It was
Yeah.
everyone.
Oh,
questioning
get
her.
out of here!
Anyway,
No,
yeah,
he's
check
right.
out our Game
He's
of
right,
Thrones
though.
podcast.
No, he's
coming
not.
out.
All right, so no, but with the movie though it does. So it starts with Amber Heard leaving him, and then it's like okay, and then he
Yeah.
keeps hearing about all these other people where they keep giving him attention for being good at fighting, and he's like, I'm the guy
I'm
who gets
the guy.
attention for
I'm
fighting.
the one. I'm
so
the best.
it's not like it's definitely not. I don't feel like it's not consistent because I think they give us the
They give
decline
us the
down with it.
content. but
I
it's
just don't.
not-
I just don't personally like the choice.
They give
of
him
it.
the climb, and then he spikes. Like there's a vertical cliff.
Yeah.
That goes
they,
up to
they
where
also
he
give you
goes.
that little piece with his dad being super abusive
Yeah.
too.
No
Yeah.
healthy fathers in this.
Like,
movie.
well, and so I
They're dead.
I just the one thing I really would want to say about that character is I wish he had died in the last fight.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted
You were so on board
I
with
wanted
that.
him to die because I think society is better off without somebody like him in it. There's
And
nothing,
that's why you don't want to mess with
there
him.
is nothing good that he will do in life.
No.
It is better that he is not a part of this world.
And the thing is, we're going into the last fight now. The thing about that, like when they fight at the end, there's no reason for him to fight him at the end because the only thing that we've been shown to that point about the main antagonist is that if he loses or something, he's gonna like snap. He's gonna do something to try to like keep being the one on top. And he's shown that he is not the one on top at the end of this movie. So like, what's he gonna do? Like, you would think he would snap and like do something crazy, but
But
like
no,
at the
in
end,
the
but
last
no.
5 seconds of
Yeah,
the movie,
he's
he's
like,
like
drive up,
smiling at him.
yeah.
It's like, no, fuck that.
That is
No,
not
for
what
sure.
he would do.
Okay, so that character probably not. Real life high school. This is
What else are you gonna do?
no. I will tell you how
Real
many.
life high school. This is not
I-
real life.
I know,
high
I know,
school.
I know, I
Pick
know.
your
Listen,
poison. Do you
I
want
know.
this to be real
Listen,
or not real?
I'm with you.
That's what this movie
This-
is.
I'm with you. This movie is not real high school, but for the one moment it tries to be, which is what tells me I think is that it's trying to be tongue in cheek in it. Is that is a very similar situation where you've seen two stupid dudes fight over something very stupid.
Yeah, real dumb.
And then later they're like chummy. Like maybe that's a county high school with me.
They're not fighting over something stupid. He
No.
about killed his best friend.
I know
Yeah.
that's again these are two different worlds, right?
Then why are you comparing the two like they're the
Because
same?
it's in high school.
I
This
don't
is the very-
understand
connected.
your comparison. You're saying like the movie's
He's
not
yelling the
realistic,
loudest 'cause he
and then
thinks
you're
that's
high
what
school.
this is.
Like you're crossing each other in a way that's
You can't
not
touch
touching.
strings.
Price. Okay, let me ask you this because you're the best at taking my words and miscommunicating and
I
not hearing
don't
what I'm saying.
Quit.
What am I trying to say right now by saying this is what happens in high school? Am I saying that the movie gets credit for that?
How else does
That's
it
what it
end?
seems
Is
like.
what
No,
I'm
no,
getting at.
that's my
How
point.
else does
is
it
that
end?
You're
Does
yelling
he
here.
take a bomb to school? Does he take an AK-47 and finish Jake Tyler?
Well, if it was if it was nowadays, he would.
like,
He
like
just
what
goes-
is your ending? Like, do you not
Yeah.
want them to
The
see
way
each
that
other
the
in a hallway?
antagonist's
Like,
character
Well,
arc is
that's
going.
why I said he should have died.
Yes.
he
How
wants
about
death.
that?
Yeah. All right. So okay.
Jake
the first,
Tyler's responsible for 2 deaths in this
puts,
movie.
puts
Yeah.
his teeth on the curb.
the first of many
No,
questions.
no, I'm saying like he knocks him on the pavement at one point. and-
Oh,
yeah.
like hits
yeah.
his head going
Yeah.
down.
And it does
or
that
stuff.
stupid
Oh,
X-ray.
$1 million baby.
X-ray.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that shit where
The
he's like
Mortal
all
Kombat-
getting punched. Yeah,
The Mortal Kombat
shit.
Yeah, the X-ray. It happens what twice in the
About
movie.
2 or 3
Yeah,
times.
Only at the end, and very briefly, and it is very jarring. Like
Oh, so jarring.
it felt like they meant to do that the whole movie,
Yeah.
but then they forgot.
They forgot while
And
they
then
were
they
filming,
left it
and
in
they
and-
couldn't go back and read.
Yeah.
We already spent the CG money,
Yeah.
Jim. We spent it. It's going in the movie.
You know, Red Jumpsuit's got to have
Yeah.
some more money.
Right.
They're already demanding more money.
They only gave us their third most popular song for this movie.
When Face Down would have made a lot more sense in this movie.
We couldn't afford it, Jim. We put it into the CG, and it's going in. All right. I don't know who Jim is, but
Jim got roasted
yeah,
this
Jim
whole
got
movie.
Otherwise, okay, who do you think loves each other, or who do you think who loves more? Do you think
Is this the question?
No, this is my question. All of us could probably have a question about this movie, but does Iowa love Amber Heard more, or does main antagonist sickly love Iowa more?
The latter.
I think
Easily the
I think
latter.
that this
I think those two get into a fight once a month.
And then they start
this
making
is
out
this
after.
is sex for them, right? Like let's be honest, this is the making of Brokeback Mountain, but much
That's
more
a perfect
stupid,
comparison.
much more stupid, and much
Yeah.
more violence.
Yep.
Like,
I don't know. That beginning of Brokeback where they're in the tent, that's pretty violent.
no,
Yeah,
he's just
it's
letting them know.
Depends on your level of violence.
When
that's
when
the
you're
thing.
not talking about who's topping and who's bottoming, you gotta just gotta assert.
You gotta figure it out.
It's they were both physical touch guys. They weren't really words of affirmation.
There was no lube in that tent.
No, well, you probably spit.
I mean, they did spit.
They did spit.
Yeah, there
Oh,
was.
they actually did?
Yeah,
Yeah, did you? Did,
I
don't
must
you
have
remember
missed that. No.
Yeah, he like spit in his
Spit in his
hand.
hand.
Oh,
And then the hand
God.
goes off camera.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Ah.
Woo! That's a movie Dylan thought I would like.
Yeah.
Hey, we're still
I
talking
don't
about it.
think
Yeah, it doesn't work.
He did not. He just thought it would be funny to do that to you.
Well, didn't you pick The Fountain for me?
Yeah.
Which is just
So, you
traditionally
know?
Nathan movies.
Yeah.
It was a like that. I will say that one was at least like. You like being John Malkovich? Here's another weird one.
That's it. Cast it to the
That's
wind.
fair. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're getting off track.
Yeah, we are, we are.
Alright, you know what?
Alright.
I'm a pro for this movie, and I'll see if you guys agree.
Okay.
The fighting scenes or the training scenes, were they decent? Were they bad? Were they kind of good?
Camera work was piss poor.
The fighting was okay. The training montages were stupid.
Yeah.
Because the progression of it was stupid.
Yeah.
Like this character's not that like amazing.
Yeah.
I think
I think he's a football player.
It's
That's
such a
about-
power
yeah.
fantasy thing.
It's
This
too
is-
heavy-handed.
This is
basically
male fantasy
CrossFit. This is
yeah.
what CrossFit fans want from CrossFit. They want
Right.
to be able to go in there for 1 month, and
Train,
come out.
And
be
then
fit,
suddenly
and
be-
fight people. Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Theo's amazing off scene right now. For
Then
our
on a
viewers.
technical level, like I just want to condense our technical gripes of this movie into like a statement, just so we realize how bad it is. Because the audio mixing on this is terrible, and the camera work on this is also terrible. Dylan had a party at his house, and Never Back Down was playing in the background. I was like, watch this scene right here, guys. Watch this one scene, and it's where the mom comes in to talk to the gym trainer, and she's just like, I don't really want my son fighting. And the whole time the cameraman is like having an episode, and he's just like shaking the whole time.
Dude, it
Like,
looked like you were doing some
It's-
fellatio.
I don't.
Get into it.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
can we all agree that she definitely hooks up with Dijon that night?
Good.
Like,
Good for her.
She
Good
he
for
likes
him.
her.
He's a fatherly figure.
he does,
Yeah.
and he's already there.
He's
Yeah.
been begging for it.
Yeah.
But good, you're missing my point though. The
Sorry,
camera work
son.
throughout this movie, like when
The
it's
camera work is
it
unique.
should have stayed.
And I don't know that it's
Unique.
great. I don't know that it's great.
I don't know. Yes.
It is different because like the chop scenes are just so strange. The
But that's more
tennis
editing than
scene-
it is.
Say more of the
Well,
chop scenes. I don't understand what you're saying.
The one that
The way
you're
the scenes
talking
are
about,
cut.
like, just for that one.
Are you talking about the way they're cut?
Yeah, that.
Like
and
where like
just,
it'll be like this, and then like it'll cut, and then like have them like falling.
I just
or-
mean like the editing especially, but like yours that film that filter that they had was so grainy. during
Yeah.
Her coming to visit him, and it was the only scene that was grainy. Like I don't know.
There's the one where they're fighting the dudes or the jeep behind
The
them,
Hummer
the
guy?
honking guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
the unit that gets out of that guy.
and he beats him up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I feel like he gets he gets smaller after he gets beat up. That's the best way I can describe it. Like when he's standing up, he
PG
looks
fights.
huge.
Is
Yeah.
it the SpongeBob muscle arm?
Yeah.
Maybe they used a stunt double. Maybe they like.
It probably was the
Yeah.
case because he seemed much smaller on the ground. I
Maybe.
remember thinking it was noticeable.
I didn't
At least for
notice
me,
it,
it
but
was.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all I got.
So,
Me. What about y'all?
Nathan, while I'm pausing for time, thinking if there's something else I want to talk about on this.
I mean, there's really not much else that stands out. I watched this movie just 2 days ago, and I can tell you that it is like quickly just
Leaving
fading
your-
to
yeah.
the ether.
Yeah.
I'm glad I took notes.
Not for me.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is lingering.
Completely gone.
It's always up there for me.
So, we haven't really talked too much about Amber Heard. I kind of want to wrap it with her because talk about a controversial
She's just your
character.
typical love
I know,
interest.
but all right. So, but do you buy onto it, right? Because I'm not saying that she had to do a great job acting, but do you buy into this, or is she like is the character make sense for her?
I
She
don't
seems like she's trying to
understand.
violence.
Like, I don't understand what she's after. And,
Same
like,
here.
who
Yeah.
When she jumps on him, when he answers the poetry question or whatever, like, what? And
Yeah,
then she
it wants
just,
to
like,
imply that she's a little smarter
is
than
Yeah.
she
infatuated.
seems, right?
That they could connect with their intelligence, maybe,
Right.
because like she had read the Iliad or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I mean, I
He's-
think that as a 15-year-old kid, as a 20-year-old guy, like
He's
She's
32.
50, she's 15.
no, I'm just saying, like watching this movie,
Oh,
like, I
okay,
think
you're
that
right.
that is 100% what you're looking for, and that's probably all they really spent
Yeah.
on her.
I kind of hate that they took away from like what's supposed to be a smarter character, right? Like clearly she was the new kid once, and then she got adopted by like Alpha Chad, whatever his name
Yeah.
is. I don't remember his name.
Amber Heard was 22
When filming that.
when filming
She's
this.
probably the youngest
The
one.
main character was 26.
Ah!
That makes sense.
He was only 10 years older than he
Good
needed to be.
Lord.
Yeah, what do you want?
Well, 9. He was a senior.
The bad guy was 26.
Yeah, that tracks.
They all look
He
like
looks.
they're 25.
He looks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very much in his mid-20s, on the tail end, not the
And
early.
there was a friend of the bad guys, like,
Oh,
I
he
can't
was
remember
30.
who was.
He was definitely in this. He was.
a white guy.
He was
Yeah.
our age.
Well,
yeah.
like some of the people that they were fighting in those boxing matches, or not boxing, but
During
that
the
like
beatdown.
that big beatdown thing.
Yeah.
Those
Those are
people
grown men.
were not. Yeah.
Oh,
Like-
Also,
But they never said. They
doing all
never
the
said.
flips
I'm
with
with
the
you there.
fucking
Right.
dreadlocks too.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if you're old enough to have dreadlocks as long as those are, man.
right.
Mason's gonna say, and I agree, that like they never specified with that tournament that it was a high school tournament.
They
There
did,
was
but
an age range.
can we
yeah.
all
Yeah.
agree that that seems incredibly strange that the high schoolers
Yeah.
are and beating
with
the
like
adults,
professional
the
fighters.
professional
Yeah.
adult fathers.
There's only two,
But
and
the
it was
two,
only
and
one.
their two are the best ones there. But yeah, that's not even counting the Karate Kid's fucking growth spurts and just being able to be great at everything, including
Yeah.
fighting, which is.
And that he had a month-long montage with
You're right.
red jumpsuit playing over. Okay?
Yeah. Listen, all you need. Here's how to be the best fighter in town.
Okay.
Red jumpsuit, 1 month.
And Rise Against.
Rise Against. That's true. Rise Against is in
And
it.
throw some cement blocks.
Yeah.
Not actually practicing any form of fighting.
No.
Just bulking. which he was already doing just fine at.
And punch your ass.
Because he was 26.
Yeah, because he was 26 and a football player.
Does anybody throw cement blocks for exercise? That's
I feel like that's a
CrossFit.
CrossFit thing. For
CrossFit.
sure.
CrossFit.
They flip tires.
They do flip
They
tires.
do flip tires. I know
I've
for a
heard
fact
that.
they
seems
think
really stupid.
It's
And I'm
really
just
bad
gonna
for your
say,
joints.
It
Yeah.
seems like a terrible thing. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
The ladder thing, like I could see that being a CrossFit
Yep.
thing, like
Where he's
climbing
like
it.
dangling on
Yeah.
it, doing that.
Just
and then
go
they
to the
all
rock
start
climbing
cheering.
gym. Just
Yeah.
go climb.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
Yeah. Just go on the yellow, V1, V2, and then you climb.
Are we ready to go to the next?
The
Sorry,
this...
the movie that I have is that he gained 15 pounds of muscle. That's all that was interesting. I don't know. Not even that interesting, really. My
Oh.
question, though, before the next
Sure.
question,
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
was this movie more or less enjoyable to watch than The Punisher? I was thinking about that today.
Oh, don't do that
More.
to me.
I'm gonna say more because as I say on my,
Less.
I'll say in my
For
score,
sure, less
I'm gonna
than
say
me.
more because there was a lot to laugh at with this movie.
Hmm.
Like I'll say in my score here in a minute. Like there were things that like hit my
Hit your
pleasure
funny
centers,
bone? Yeah.
I guess,
Okay.
which I'll describe more later. But I would say this was. Doesn't mean it's a better movie.
Sure. But I was thinking about that today where I came in sort of loaded and I was like, this is the best comic book movie ever. Like, this is my personal favorite.
Mm.
And then, like, it was like, no, this is cheesy as all get out. I was like, oh. No, it is, though. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Alright, what about for you all though?
You said you're less?
Yeah, I prefer the Punisher to this for
Hell yeah.
sure. Like all day.
I just needed to hear some kind of praise for the Punisher.
I mean, I kind of like the
I
Punisher.
came off of Bill Punisher. I like the Punisher. I'll say that the...
He said a more enjoyable watch.
I know, and that's
Just
what's...
a time with it.
Yeah, it is.
If you're saying over the period of the movie, yeah, I'm gonna give this over the Punisher, but the Punisher's highs are better.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever
the
he's
Russian fight scene.
him stabbing the Russian and he
like the
smiles.
vengefulness, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you look pretty fit. 10 pounds, not that heavy, right?
Yeah.
When your arm's elevated and it's like a grenade,
Hell of a work.
and you hear him screaming at the and blows up. That's his son. That's fucking sick. That's good. That's peak. But throughout the entire movie, I would say I was more entertained and never back down,
Nice.
which is where I'm quantifying my enjoyability. Anyway, other question?
I got one.
Sure.
Between this and Warrior, who
Get the fuck
who
out.
had the antagonist you hated more? This one with the Chad guy,
Wait,
or
is it Bulldog or
or Mad Dog?
Mad
Mad Dog?
Dog.
Yeah, sorry, Mad Dog. Yeah. Oh no, it's this guy.
This guy
I'm probably
sucks.
saying
Mad
I'm
Dog.
probably saying this guy.
Mad Dog wasn't enough of.
'Cause-
I would almost say like
there wasn't
Tom
enough-
Hardy was
there
more of
wasn't
an
enough, like,
antagonist.
Mad Dog gets
Yes.
humbled immediately, both times.
Yeah,
Which
yeah, he
is
was all
great.
bite or all bark.
Right.
Yeah.
He gets immediately humbled every time he starts to be like a douche. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he's not a main antagonist.
This
He's a hard person.
one, right? This guy comes in and he's like, "Hey, fuck you," the entire time. He says, "Fuck you, pay me energy," the entire time, and then Evan
would-
Peters for no reason.
A better antagonist for Warrior would have been alcohol.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Drug use.
Yeah,
That's the real thing that they can't beat up with their fists.
poverty.
Yeah.
like lack of money.
Right,
mortgage would have been a better antagonist.
Kurt Angle is the Russian.
Yeah,
Kubo. Or,
Kubo,
Kubo and the Two Strings.
No.
Kobu.
Different.
Okay.
All right, that's my question.
All right, sorry.
Yeah.
I want to circle back to that one question. then.
Mm-hmm, go for it.
Because speaking of the Warrior comparison, all right, which main character deserved to win more in their fights? Was it Never Back Down's Iowa or
Tom
Or
Hardy.
Brandon.
no? Then Brandon.
It's Tom Hardy.
But Brandon won though. That's
I
what
know
I'm
Tom Hardy should have won.
saying.
There's no reason he.
I'm gonna say Brendan just because he had an actual more like there was so much shit on the line and all they had to do to sell me on that was for his coach to be like,
Oh,
you don't win this fight, you don't have a home.
Don't act like that Citizen Fire.
That is
no.
hot.
You
that
all
is
said that
so
I almost got a
many
semi
times.
chub and some. I got some goosebumps.
I
right
did
there.
chub. I
Yeah.
did. No, yeah. If you said, "Oh, you don't have a life going home to you," compared to your girlfriend's probably going to be happier if you don't
She's
break.
kind of slutty. Like that's
Yeah.
pretty much what I would have said.
Right.
You're gonna be lost. Like,
she'll
don't worry
she'll
about
probably
her.
get bored if you're not the best fighter in town.
She's gotta
Like-
move on to the next best fight.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, there's gonna be another new guy that
Yeah.
comes in.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a video.
You're kinda
yeah,
old
Kansas
news.
is going to come in and he's going to take you out, Iowa. Like, yeah.
Clark Kent's gonna come in.
Iowa did not deserve to win his fight. He should not be that good at fighting. Okay, he should not be that good in mixed martial arts
Agreed.
at this point. He can throw a punch and that's fine. But
If I'm being serious, yeah, I want to say Brendan or whatever his name was
yeah,
in
yeah.
Warrior. just
Oh, yeah.
because he at least
He's
had
old.
he at least had
Yeah.
training. Like,
But he had an experience of being a
So-
fighter.
I meant old as
Yeah.
in he's way past it. Like he was
well,
lucky to get finished.
Yeah.
with
don't
that
get me wrong,
tank.
Tom Hardy should have won though.
The tank.
the tank.
Did you see those traps?
You ripped the tank off
I
the door,
didn't.
door
I
off
must
the
have
tank.
missed him.
God, Tom Hardy's traps.
We go into scores now.
Can
No,
melt-
fat thin.
Melt
Oops.
butter on
Almost
those.
skipped it.
Fat, thin, perfectly
But
fit.
can we?
We don't skip it. This is a bit of a fat episode, but there's a lot of meat on it. So what can we say?
We've already talked
This
a
is a
lot
lot.
about
Nathan.
lot.
It's fat. I feel like it was I don't even remember how long it was, but I feel like this was a very long movie.
It's over 2 hours.
No.
There's-
no,
yeah, it's like
an hour
40.
I'll look it
Yeah,
up.
it's
It
an hour
felt
40
really
something.
close to 2 hours, and I don't think it really needed to be. I don't even know what you would take out. I don't care what you would take out.
You don't actually. I connect.
That's more than
I want to
that.
counter. I think you think it's actually thin because the kid needs to die. You need to add that
They
in.
didn't
The
give
movie all
that to
makes
you.
sense.
They didn't give that to you.
Iowa
They
power
didn't.
bombs him and it shows his neck breaking and that stupid Mortal Kombat
I mean,
X-ray thing.
there were multiple moments where
Off a
it's like
car.
Yeah.
there were multiple times when one of them got dropped to the pavement where that could have
No.
killed
Or
you.
Yes,
crushed
for
the
sure.
spine, like
Oh.
whenever he had like.
Well,
laid
yeah,
that's-
down and
that's
flat-
pavement.
Yeah,
You
that's
could,
pavement.
you could argue that if you really worked your back a lot,
Yeah.
and you
You
really
could
like
brace
just
with the
embrace
muscle.
with your
Yeah.
muscles, then it's your muscles that hit first,
Right.
ideally.
I don't
But
know.
on pavement,
But
no.
you know,
Yeah.
if you're not really on point and like tucking that chin whenever you go down, you could. You
Oh,
could
just
do
your
that.
head rattling off.
Yeah,
alone
that'd be
would
bad.
Yeah. I mean, Sophie's a little chubby. I mean, I'll give it that. I don't actually think it's like fat. I mean, here's my thing. I think it feels like 2 hours, but it is like an hour 40 something. So it's about 20 minutes over, which is not like 30. This is where I start getting into like fat. So I think it's healthily chubby.
Well, I mean, I would also say the same thing. I was
Yeah.
thinking like 15 to 20 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
I would have been less bothered. Like I wouldn't have been looking at how much longer I gotta watch this thing.
I think
Yeah.
I think you cut a couple of the montages and maybe
Well-
the Jeep fight, and then you're probably
The
good.
good thing about this is too, even with its like kind
the
of.
Jeep fight was funny.
It was a little
It
fun.
lets you
You're
hear
right, I keep it.
Chameleonaire riding dirty right afterwards.
Oh yeah, there's
It
that.
transitioned into the poolside or whatever it was.
Actually,
the lakeside.
no, I know where I take it back. I trimmed some of the male fantasy. Everybody loves this guy because he beats kids up in Iowa.
Mm,
I cut some of the new kid fantasy shit out. That stuff.
because it hit him harder than
It
anything
did.
else.
It bothered me.
I mean, I
Yeah.
was a new kid at a lot of schools because I moved back and forth quite a bit, and I don't know. I didn't really have too much of a hard time in that. I didn't feel quite so isolated,
'cause
but I
Nathan
guess
got
it's
into a
all
fight in
personal
his life.
experience.
I know. Nathan knew
Yeah.
Nathan knew to fight kids early.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I did.
You wanna go with yours?
I echo Nathan. Like, it's
Cool.
fat, but I don't really know what to cut. I'm not saying like all of it's needed. It's just like it's all like so bad that if you cut out literally anything, I'm not gonna care.
I think
It's
that-
all cancer to me, bud.
if I was to say that it's chubby, I'm gonna go ahead and say that like Charlie and his tennis shenanigans are all basically pointless in every way, shape, and form, except
Oh
for the development of like I have a little brother that's kind of cool. He
Yeah.
kind of like puts a frozen something that way I can put it against my face.
What
He-
does that contribute to the plot?
Not much, besides the fact that they moved down there. Almost.
That there's something
it's
redeemable,
purely
yeah.
just a justification
Exposition.
for the move.
Yeah.
And
And he's a dick at the tennis thing too. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here now. Yeah, go get him." Blah blah blah. And it's like nobody does that. And
not in tennis, buddy. This ain't basketball.
no.
Yeah.
But no, the other purpose of the relationship with his brother is to show that he's supposed to be more of a redeemable character. It doesn't really work, but it's supposed to be like.
Yeah,
No,
I think
'cause it's
that
such
they-
a cheesy
but
relationship.
that's
they,
the point,
They
right?
take
Nobody
a lot of
has that
shots with
relationship.
that, and it all just sort of falls short.
There's a pretty big age gap though. The kid's like maybe like 6, and he's like
And
26.
Six?
He's like a
He's not 6. He's
He
like
might be
11 or
12 or
12.
13.
Yeah. There's maybe in movie verse. There's like maybe a 4 or 5 year difference.
Yeah. In
In
real life,
real
right?
life,
yeah.
they were born in different several different presidential elections.
Yeah.
apart, so, very different. Anyways, we got to get in the scores.
Let's do it. Go ahead,
No,
Nathan.
Nathan's starting.
Their positions are flopping.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to sit next to the.
Oh, he's got
griper.
his pencil out, ready to scribe.
Yeah.
I just don't really care much about this movie. I don't know. I'll land at like a 5.5. And it's
That's
not
way
a
higher than I
bad
thought.
movie, but it's not like I don't know. I'll never watch it again.
And you said it's already like fading from your
Yeah,
memory
like,
as it is. Sorta.
it's very
Did that
quickly
kid die?
just like
in your head in about a week. That kid died at the end.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean
Let's
that
start
resolves
from
better
that.
for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We'll go with that.
Cool.
So this movie has a lot of complaints on it, but this is the one part I can't meme, and that's my score. And this movie is a definitive 7.5.
Oh yeah.
This movie is purely the definition
Oh
of
my
6.
God.
6.5.
You disgust
6.5 to 7 is like a bad movie with some redeeming traits.
Yeah.
This is a movie that is bad, but it is enjoyably bad for most of the time, to points where I'm actually getting convinced it's kind of good.
you have you've drank the Kool-Aid
I
from
have.
the cult member himself.
I really
Yeah.
have.
I'm the cult
Listen.
leader.
Yeah, I know.
You're the only one
You're the only
in the world.
Nathan, I told you he would do this.
No.
I told
Yeah,
you he would
I
do
am.
this.
I am
Dylan's
unabashedly
impressionable, and I am.
He's just like it's just like
impressionist.
Brothers. He's
No.
just like it's such
No.
a bad movie that like you can meme
Can't
it
wait
and
for
it's
the
there
bracket.
No,
whenever
because
this
they
just
just-
rides
Yeah.
up.
That's the enjoyability of it, though. For
It's
me,
gonna be Parasite
It's so
versus
dumb.
this.
It is. I hope it is.
Oh my
I hope
God.
it is.
Start putting the arms,
Yeah.
beef up.
I will fight all night for this movie.
We're gonna have a
will
1
not.
month montage to Red Jump.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. How many times did I don't know, My Chemical Romance play in Parasite? I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah,
How many
right,
was it? Was
Yeah.
it a 0?
That was
Okay,
number
they played
one on the emo
teenagers,
bracket.
okay?
Yeah, they did. So, like,
And
listen.
the song fit.
It did.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it
with all
was
those 26-year-olds.
right. Those
Hey,
barely,
Nathan, you win.
those barely older than Price currently age group players. So this movie is dumb as shit. It is, but it is like where if you look at like the niche fan bases of people who like keep going to watch Twilight. Yes, that's my wife. And are like, we know it's bad,
Yeah.
but we keep getting enjoyment from it because it's that kind of like popcorn eating double of dumb. That's where I am with this movie. This is like, I'm like, I want to watch Warrior, but much stupider. And I would put this in, and I would keep it on. Does it ever give me like juice and jack to go work out? No. Does it ever get me behind these characters as believable teenagers? No.
Yeah, it's
Does
not in for that, yeah.
Do I appreciate the fact that Amber Heard is still punching people even in this movie?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, it's consistent. That's the consistent line throughout all the characters. This is forgivably dumb, which is where I give it a 7.5, because I will say what I watched it, and I will tell you immediately, I immediately went downstairs, rented it for the party to have it playing again, because while we were getting ready, I was like, nah, I want to watch that again. That was
Yeah.
stupid. And I kind of want to get Hannah on board with it, because I think it's the kind of stupid that she likes. So,
Nice.
7.5, this is the definitive 7.5, the one that's like...
So this is the bar. Like
When-
this is
This
Yeah.
will be
This
brought
one.
back, just so you know.
Well, I do this all the time where I'll be
Oh
like,
my
all right,
God.
7.5, so was this better than this or this 7. You know, and we
Right.
just kind of gauge it like
so,
that
right,
anyway.
it's an 8... Well, here's the difference,
Except
right?
for you, I give you 2s because
Yeah.
that's what you give everything.
That's true. You're pitiful. With
I
your
say, is
scores.
Excalibur
It's
better
not-
or worse
It's not,
than
it's
this?
not a 2. Don't
I'm gonna
worry.
go ahead and bookmark it now in this
Of
clip. So if Price ever gets so obnoxious that he clips and says this is definitive 7.5, I will say 7.5 from below or above makes a difference. Is this an 8 coming down or is this a 7 going up?
Mm.
And this is a 7 going up to a 7.5.
Hell
So
yeah.
it's like a 7.25 and you round.
Yeah. There,
Yeah, well, what the fuck
apparently-
does
That's what it
7.25?
sounds like.
There's hidden values within this.
Yeah.
Hey, I dig
That
it.
makes no sense.
I dig it.
Whatever.
You don't need to.
Whatever you
It's not
two,
your scale.
whatever you two do with your messed up scales,
You
whatever.
Don't try to understand
But
it.
I'm going to go ahead and say my score. This movie is bad. It's super bad. I've not said, I don't know if I've said one good thing. The soundtrack, like it's got
Yeah.
songs that I like.
Mhm.
And that's the only reason I'm not giving this a 0 is because
Oh
it's,
my
it's,
God.
it's got
You're
these,
dramatic.
it's got
Because
these,
it was
it's-
so fucking trash.
it's got all these things in it that like pierces my brain and is like, you like this song, you like this song,
Mm.
like
You know what?
in
He's never going to
That's
forget
it.
this movie.
No, he won't. And
No,
I love
fair.
that. It's gonna
It
always
might be a
stay.
0.5, but he'll
But that's the
never
reason
forget
I'm not. I
this
can't
movie.
give it a 0. It's not like a Frontiers or something like that.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's not immediately evacuating my brain,
Yeah,
which
that
which I'll give it credit for that. Like I at least remember some of it, but I watched it and I hated it. Like
would suck. Yeah.
it's got like teenage romance. It's got an unrealistic high school. It's got grown men being high schoolers. It's so put together poorly. It's edited poorly. The audio mixing's terrible. The camera work's terrible. The characters are terrible. There's no believable character development. The dialogue is terrible. This movie is terrible all around, in my opinion. And I will, just for the fact that like it's got songs in it that I like and it pierces through my brain, I'm giving this a 0.5
I knew it.
because
Because you haven't ever given something that yet.
No.
because I
no.
just like at least it's got something in there to make me like, oh yeah, like it had teenagers playing before the party. And,
You
like,
realize
kind of made sense.
Excalibur,
Like,
you
Red
did
Sonja.
Excalibur,
give
you
like
gave
a
Oh,
2.
I would go back. I told you my scale. Like I was being too nice.
Oh.
Excalibur's a 0.
Yes, too nice at 2. Yeah.
It's a 0.
Yeah.
In a sense, he's broken new ground. He just wants to ruin the average.
Yeah, I told you once. Frontiers broke me. It's like
Yeah.
this number's
I
gonna be
do
flying
believe
around
that.
more. Like
It
Fritz
broke
the
a
cat.
bunch of us.
Fritz the cat was another 0. That totally. And even though I remember that movie, like it was because I remember how much I hated it the entire time I watched.
You didn't like the furry porn documentary we watched?
God, that movie was weird.
Yeah.
And I had to keep reminding myself that Fritz the Cat was from the 70s.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I
didn't.
couldn't wrap my
The
head
language.
around that.
was
I was like,
funny.
no.
It was
No,
pretty
this
clear.
Is late 90s.
There's
at
nothing.
the
Even the
very
animation.
earliest.
It's or a current Quentin Tarantino movie, if you will.
This is a new project.
It is.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10.
Yeah, we couldn't get it off.
Yeah.
I knew he would.
Too high of a horse.
I
I'm with you, dragging the point average on this thing up the hill.
Well, I mean, I can totally understand where this movie was not very realistic.
I'm,
But
I,
It's
I,
not
I
at
am
all.
ready for this.
yeah.
Oh, it's
This
not
qualifier.
realistic. even
Champion
in
it.
the
Champion on your 10.
slightest.
Yeah.
I do think that the characters aren't so bad as Price was leading on. I do think that some of them were a little bland. Amber Heard was basically nothing, and Charlie was basically nothing. But I do like Jake Tyler, which is Iowa, and
I can never remember the antagonist's name.
well, Ryan McCarthy I do like. But I was
Right.
talking about the trainer, John Roca. I
yeah.
actually enjoyed most of the time when they were in the gym.
Yeah.
That was his fatherly figure, whatever. That was
Mhm.
pretty much all that they directed towards that. Amber Heard's character name is the name of my dog.
I was gonna ask,
Yeah,
and I knew it was the
Yeah.
case. I just wanted it on record.
yeah.
Kelly went to sleep while we were watching this movie together, and I finally heard them call her Baja,
Mhm.
and I said out loud, I went, Mason, you fucker. And
Just a little
and-
tiny
and-
sprinkle.
And Kelly
of a
woke
seed.
up and was like, well, what is it?
What I miss?
Yeah. So, all right, really quick while you're in your score, Hannah had mentioned, because I was talking about how her name was Baja, and she was like, I think I knew that. Because apparently she had a talk with you at one point. She was like, "Oh yeah, do you like whatever a Baja thing would be?"
Like
Next-
Baja
or,
Blast.
yeah, Baja
Yeah, like
Blast or
Baja.
yeah. that's
right,
what everyone
and
asked me
then
about, yeah.
she said your quote was, "That would have been a really good idea."
I'm
And then you went
always-
on to explain that it was
Yeah.
a character from this movie.
Yeah. No.
keep telling
Sorry,
us
go
that
on,
kid.
go on.
Oh
Give it-
no!
give us
Validate
a
your tip, validate your
The
tip.
soundtrack does hold it. I mean, it's got Gym Class Heroes.
Mm.
It does have Millionaire. It's got My Chemical Romance. It's,
A millionaire.
it is
A name you won't ever hear.
It wasn't Riding Dirty either. It was,
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was the other one.
Yeah.
Anyways, I do think that this movie, as a 17-year-old, is gonna resonate. You could show this movie to most kids. I think.
I want to.
You are over 30 now, not
Yeah.
17.
But I watched
What-
it when I was like
Yeah,
16.
you watched it
But
when
you
was
watched
okay.
it this time
I
when
was
you're above
curious
30.
Yeah.
about- okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a nostalgic thing.
What the
but
experience
also,
of growing up with this movie is, right?
Yeah, and this is definitely a movie. We talked about it off camera. Like,
Yeah.
if I Am Legend has been my most watched movie, this is within the next 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like easily.
Yeah.
But no, it's just a feel good movie for me. I don't know. I do like the choreography of the fight scenes, especially the first party scene.
Yeah.
Even though it's a little bit cheesy with the flip phones, everyone had their little flip phones out. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just enjoyed it, but no, that's all you guys are gonna get from me. I just really like this movie.
No, you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
That's your rationale for a 10. Is like,
I really like
yeah,
Hey.
some of the stuff's not so good,
Well,
but
so here's
you know
my
what?
thing with you.
It
you.
is sort of weird.
Yeah, here it is. Here it is.
No. So
Well, I mean, don't
Come on,
forget
come at me
Tim
for my
and
Tim.
Eric's $1 billion.
I
Tim
will,
and
I will
Eric's
fight for Tim and
$1
Eric.
no, I
You've
am
gone, you say that now.
But
You've
you've
gone
gone on
back
record.
and
Oh yeah, I
forth
was messing with
already.
you all.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
no. So I am pro you giving anything a 10. I'm not gonna take that away from you. I wish you would give more 10s. Because you
Some
have gotten
zeros.
to the point.
Yeah, at
you
least.
have gotten to the point where you go into every single movie with the most critical eye, and you pick it apart, top to bottom, left to right.
I like doing that with
Whereas-
I still don't
like-
think Price likes movies.
I'm
based on
starting to
scores,
wonder.
based on scores,
I'm
I think
starting
we
to
like
wonder,
movies. Nathan
because
kind of likes movies.
For this
I don't
movie
think
to be a
Price-
0.5 from anyone's standpoint, I'm just
Yeah.
like, damn.
I,
That's,
I rationalized that
poll.
0.5 thoroughly.
I want to do
yeah,
a poll
you
for
spoke
like.
on it. But
no,
I, mean,
I said
I'm
I
just saying,
rationalized
like,
it to me
if you were
thoroughly.
if you were to get on Hulu and you're bored to tears,
I don't
and
care
you've
what-
got 2 hours to watch something, and you put something on, are you gonna automatically give something a 0.5? at random.
If
John
it
Roca
sucks-
makes sense. I'm with him on this.
If it sucks, yeah. If it's a movie's terrible, I'm
Point
gonna.
5 is so critically
0.5
bad.
is so
Specifically
specifically bad.
bad.
Like
Right.
For me,
that is
it is.
atrocious.
For me,
what
it,
about Sharknado?
for me, it is that
No,
bad.
he
we're
loves
not,
that shit.
We're not going to critic scores because I gave this a 0.5. For me, it is a 0.5, and I hated it. This guy, for some reason, gave it a 7.5, and he's just like,
It's
whatever.
delicious.
Critics don't agree with any of us because it's like,
No.
I think they got it like a 30%, which we'll give it in a minute. These are our own personal scores.
Yeah.
I just, like, it's just hard for me to rationalize, like, anything above a 7 for this movie. Like,
What
I
about
can't. I
So
anywhere
we're about to
between
go all the
0.5
way
and
to
a
the
7?
bottom, though.
Can you rationalize
That's
anything
right.
between
So
that?
this is where this is the critique of the meter, so to speak, right? It's just like, okay, above a 7, sure, I can get behind that. Yeah, I enjoy.
Well, so I feel like in my mind, U2 7 is like
Middle ground.
the median.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like that's
It
where
is
things
the median.
start.
to a degree.
So like
Well, for
For you
movies that
all,
we
like,
enjoy.
it's
Yeah.
bad if it starts going below 7, and it's getting better if it goes above 7.
Sure.
And for me, 5
5
is where
is-
that
Sure, but
starts.
even
And
at
that's
your
where
median,
Nathan and I both are, where most people are. 5 is like, that was a
0.5.
movie.
Price, I think you're
5.
more like a 2,
yeah,
and then you might
might
get
work
up
up to 3.
here.
No, 3. Your 5 is probably mine and Mason's 8. Like
Maybe.
maybe
That
You're-
is definitely not true. I've given plenty of movies a 5 where I didn't hate my time. It was a movie. Whatever. This movie, like, viscerally got me where I was like, I hate this movie.
I don't think you hated this movie that bad.
Well,
I did.
okay. Can we get into critic scores before we?
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see what the true artists thought of this movie.
The true artist.
There's
Yeah.
so many never
It doesn't
back
agree with
downs.
any of you. Like, I looked at it before.
I don't care if it agrees with me. That's fine. 7.5.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm
So,
way above whatever.
Tomato,
critics are gonna say on this
tomato
movie.
meter is a 22%.
What did the public say about it though?
Yeah. 34.
Ah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
But, on IMDb.
There we are.
IMDb has it at a 6.5, so, like, the user scale is at a 6.5.
IMDb
See, in IMDb,
is a
people
cesspool.
read the watch the movies though. They're just toxic.
It's a cesspool.
IMDb, like, means nothing.
IMDb.
How many reviews do you have on your
Just give me the
scale
wheel.
that
Just
no
give
one
me
else
the wheel.
uses?
Yeah.
What?
How many reviews do you have on IMDb?
1.
Alright, we gotta
What?
keep it level.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
you did all of your
Ratings?
movies.
Ratings, I'm in, like, the 1900s.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, let's go.
they skipped us.
I don't blame them.
Whatever.
Alright,
Black
finally
Tuesday.
got it.
Scared Theo right out.
Oh
Nathan,
man.
finally.
Finally on the
Welcome to the
board.
chat.
Finally gonna get to watch this movie.
I know. Hey, that's 2 of us. I've been putting it off the
I
entire time.
haven't, I haven't seen it either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
No.
So us three have not seen it.
I just was like, well, I know I want to watch it, and I would like to watch it for this, so I just won't watch it, and proceed to over a year
2
later.
Yeah.
Year plus later of wheel spins.
I haven't played those games in a while. I may actually play those.
They're
in
so
honor of
good.
this.
Yeah.
Like I highly recommend.
I remember. No, I've beaten them all. I just
Yeah.
I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
I think I like the second one a little less. I don't remember if I got around the third one, but the first one was really good.
There's
the
3,
first
right?
one,
Yes.
that whole like coming up out of the blood and everything, like
Yeah.
that was incredible.
Sounds like The Descent.
A little bit. Yeah, kind of similar. Like, it felt like an homage on that one.
I love
yeah.
that movie.
So anyway,
that
make sure to
one.
tune in
Huh?
next week
That
for
one.
Alicia
That's true.
Vikander's The Tomb Raider. Not The Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider. Not to be confused with Angelina Jolie's Tomb
Yeah.
Raider.
Very
That's
different.
Laura Croft, Tomb
yeah,
Raider.
Yeah, not to be
Yeah.
confused with Laura Croft. They wanted you to know. This is the only character you're going to care about this movie.
Lara.
Laura.
Korn did a music video for Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And I watched. I don't know if you all remember it, but like
Oh,
I do.
Angelina
I
Jolie.
sent it to you.
Yeah,
guys.
oh,
I
yeah,
you
told
sent
y'all
it to me?
about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why. That must have been why I watched
Yeah.
it. Because I remember Angelina Jolie's in it with Korn like dancing around.
No.
This is
Yeah.
bizarre.
I feel like
Well,
it-
you can tell they didn't film on set together.
Together.
No.
It was green screen.
Right,
Yeah.
they just kind of phoned them in on that one. But if you enjoy fighting movies, or if you think that you could go beat up a kid in Iowa, let us know in the comments below. Any kid, doesn't matter which one.
Yeah.
You can't.
Uh,
Just pick
An-
one.
an
They're
infant,
they're
if you
huge.
want.
Yeah, if you well, the corn fan. Look
yeah,
at
I
those
was
boys.
gonna say they eat a lot of corn.
Yeah, those boys eat a lot of corn.
Chicken full of antibiotics.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
Yeah,
That's the
those.
other one. Yeah, antibiotic chickens. If you like antibiotic chickens, make sure to give us a big thumbs up. It'll make you bulky and beefy, just like Price. And speaking of Price, make sure to never forget to hit the bell.
Ah, I tried to give you the out.
He didn't run this time. He knew better. I'll always get him.
He just watched Never Back Down, and I don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
I was gonna hit you with this hand, but it's my ring hand, and I know that one hurts a little bit more. So, and I can't really hit you like this because it's like it's not the same.
It's weird.
Anyways, yes.
I don't like that noise.
So hit the bell. Otherwise, we will.
Hit you.
Yeah. Otherwise, make sure to tune in next week for Tomb Raider 2018, right?
No.
2014.
No, no, it's not 2014.
No, it's not that old.
We'll get back to it. At least for Cantor's first one, Tomb Raider. Tune in next week. Bye, guys.
I think we meet in the middle. 16 maybe.
I'll say 2017 at most, but it definitely feels
What?
like 2018.